Namaste everyone. Can anything that is measurable except in the physical world be ever good? This is a question that Krishnaji raises, and it's very thought-provoking. And that question is very carefully worded. Except in the physical world, that phrase is added. For we cannot deny that a number of things in the physical world, in certain measurable manner, that means of definite quantity. What we mean by definite quantity is something can be more than that, and somewhere something can be less than that also. Physical, simple domestic things. You have 2 bedrooms in your house. I have 4 bedrooms in my house. So 2 and 4 are measurable. You have 2 liters of milk in your fridge. I have only half a liter of milk in my refrigerator. These are physical things. And technologically also, you have a computer that's very fast. I have one which is slower. A country has rockets for military equipment, and another country has its technological marvels. We talk about the longest bridge in the world is in such and such country, the longest railway line, the longest roads, and so on. And all of them are measurable. The tallest mountain is in Nepal, Mount Everest, so on and so forth. And we do not find fault with them. In the physical world, in the technological domain, a large number of things which are measurable serve a certain purpose, and they have a place in the scheme of things. Therefore, we need to be cautious about the context. Can anything measurable, leaving out the physical world, be ever good? Here comes a very extraordinary search. Interestingly, traditional philosophies around the world have also talked about certain search for the infinite. There is no happiness in the finite. Happiness is to be found only in the infinite, in the ananta. Alpa means limited. A few grams also is alpa. Thousands and thousands of tons also is alpa. A few millimeters also is finite. And millions of kilometers, once it is measured, it is finite. And in traditional philosophies, they have looked at Ananta, the infinite, as their goal. They want to find it. However, though much is said about where this Ananta actually applies. Generally, people visualize it outside. As long as I am after getting something finite, I will not have happiness. Therefore, I should look for something infinite and get it. I must acquire the infinite. So, infinity also, at least as far as less mature students are concerned, infinity also is something to be sought after outside. Ananta is sought after outside. It's only when much more inquiry is done, only when we extend the frontiers of our investigation, that we find that the true infinity is not to be found outside, it's not something to be acquired, it is rather to be discovered by negating, by liquidating a thought created barrier, a thought created division, a thought created wall. Therefore, the inquiry turns inward. I am not going from a small mountain to a bigger mountain and then an even bigger and then an infinitely sized mountain. That is ridiculous. Who cares for an infinitely big mountain? Infinitely vast ocean, infinitely spread out sky, and so on. They are of no use. Large ones, small ones, medium sized ones in the outer world have a place in the transactional world. Therefore, we are seeking not something infinite in the transactional world. In the transactional world, things that are finite are of use. Then what do we mean by the field of search is not the transactional world? Obviously, we come to the psychological world. In the psychological world, what is finite and what is infinite? In the psychological world, what is measurable, which is the synonym here of finite, and what is immeasurable? The immeasurable goes somewhat with Ananta, the infinite. Interestingly, in the Chandogya Upanishad, after saying Na alpe sukhamasti, there is no happiness in anything that is finite, Sanat Kumara says it's only in the infinite, the immeasurable. Bhuma is the word used. There is a topic in the Vedanta called Bhuma Vidya. Bhuma is another synonym for Ananta. Yo vai Bhuma tat sukham. Fine. But what is this Bhuma? What is this infinite? And Sanat Kumara who in the old stories is described as someone who is ever young. Like Markandeya never went beyond 16 years of age. Very, very fascinating stories. Ageless body, timeless mind. A popular writer. Many of you know who I am referring to. Dr. Deepak Chopra wrote a book towards the end of 1980s. Ageless body, timeless mind. And that book sold like hotcakes, especially in philosophical circles. Even today, he makes news. So, what is infinite? And that's where I will once more quote the traditional Upanishadic wisdom. Sanat Kumar makes a very intriguing statement or a definition of the infinite, the immeasurable. He says, where you do not see the other, where you do not hear the other, where you do not touch the other, where you do not smell the other, where you do not think of other, dismissal of the other. Yatra nanyat pashyati, yatra nanyat shranoti, yatra nanyat na anyat. Anyat means other. Yatra nanyat chintayati or manute. So let's leave tradition aside now. The infinity in the psychological domain is when psychology ends, when there is only undivided perception. Psychologically, the division is caused by a sense of I. I see your 4-bedroom house and I realize with great difficulty my wife and I managed to buy a 2-bedroom house. That's the end of our life. We cannot hope for more. That's our thought. Your house being 4-bedroom house and my house being 2-bedroom house is in the physical domain. But psychologically, I look at you as so fortunate, so enviable, and I look at myself as not all that fortunate, the less fortunate, as they call it. So, in knowledge, I come to know that you have guided 100 people in doing PhD in some latest topics. And I struggle to handle the MSc classes. I skip classes. I browbeat my students. If they ask any advanced question, I pretend to know it, but tell them, what a silly question you are asking. Go read such and such book in the library and walk away. Natak, they say, no? Some teachers do such natak. Actually, they don't know, but they pretend to know everything and then they just say, go read that book by Milman and Top. Some authors' names they. The students are clever also. Okay, sir. Okay, sir. And they go away. And after going out of the staff room or your cabin, they look at each other. Sir doesn't know, and this is how he always escapes. Leave him alone. Anyway, coming back, I come to know you have guided so many students in advanced subjects, and I have hardship in conducting classes for BSc or MSc, where I just blink. That also outwardly is not an issue. So what? Everybody doesn't have to know, advanced topics in this or that subject. Problem is there is no self-acceptance. I reject myself. Oh, why am I like this and why is she like that? Why am I less popular and why is she so popular? Why am I less? Why do I have a 2 BHK and why does she have a 4 BHK? This I as unenviable, pitiable, or if you want a stronger word, contemptible, and so on. As long as on some occasions I look at myself as unenviable, and on some other occasions I look at myself as haha. Now nobody is anywhere near me. I am the mightiest. I am the Shah and Shah. All this is measurables. When I see myself as superior to others, and on other occasions when I see myself as inferior, somewhere deep inside, I measure myself. I subject myself to a certain evaluation. Even in the spiritual field, the half-baked gurus sometimes pride over how their books sold in millions and another guru's books were not at all sold. How their ashram goes into 600 acres and another guru's ashram is not even half an acre and is always in financial trouble. Once more, please see, it is not the acres or financial trouble or number of books sold. Psychologically, do you see yourself less worthy, less accomplished? And is there a certain pain about your being so? And in the so-called success, is there certain elation, certain celebration? Do you go into a jubilant mood? That is where Krishnaji would hammer it out. The measurable cannot ever be good. Now comes the scenario which is not about size of the house or size of the ashram or balance in your bank account, etc. Those are all more gross. There is the subtler domain of how I have come a long way in handling my greed, my ambition. I am less ambitious than olden days. Do you know? I say. There also, I put a label upon myself. I used to be so ambitious and used to have sleepless nights when somebody did better in the business than I did, or in academics, or in any other field. And nowadays, I don't have such jealousy. It slightly pinches me, but not much. That is also measurable. I was more prone to anger when I was in my 40s. Now in my 60s, I very rarely get angry. Somebody said there was a time when I used to get angry 7 times a day. Now I get angry once in 7 days. Those who know the simple maths immediately calculate. His anger has reduced in terms of frequency by 1 by 49. 7 times a day and once in 7 days. Wow. The so-called mad world gives a lot of value, attaches a lot of value to such changes which are partial, which are in a certain compartment. Some parents once said, our son was into drugs and we were so sad. And then our son came in touch with this guru. Some guru came from Bihar and we were surprised. Our son who never went anywhere near spirituality somehow liked that guru with a long beard or whatever and attended some courses, pranayama and standing upside down and something. And now he is completely free from drugs and they are very happy. But a lot of us are free from drugs from birth. We never went for drugs. Are we happy? Lot of us never touched cigarettes. Lot of us did not go for whiskey or wine. Does it make us really happy people, loving people? Do we love or do we deserve or do we, I should put it another way, are we lovable? Do we allow others to love us or we hold a barrier? We hold a shield. We say to people, don't come too near me. I mean, physically or in other ways. We live in some kind of self-created, what do you call that, kavacha. There is a word called kavacham or kavacha. Some kind of guard they put on the chest, soldiers put on the chest. If somebody pierces a sword into their chest, that sword may break. They have a raksha kavach. Krishnaji mocks at these raksha kavachs as far as psychology is concerned. One of his very intriguing statements was, truth comes to your house, truth comes as a robber to your house. Alas, your walls are too strong. Truth cannot get in. What a strange, what a weird illustration. Nowhere else anybody compares truth with a robber. Truth is an angel, truth is a yaksha, kinnara, gandharva, truth is a sweet little thing. Truth, has light around it. Truth carries a magic wand with it and touches you and you also become an angel. These are the descriptions for truth. But Krishnaji anyhow was unconventional. He did not care for good old language, good old examples, good old stories. He says truth is like a robber, and when truth comes to your house, your walls are so strong, and on top of it, you close the door and peep through a little hole in the window. Who is it? Who is it? What do you want from me? The truth gets scared as though and goes away. Dur se namaskar, it says. So be vulnerable, he said. Very intriguing statement. Everywhere in the world, they say, be strong. Don't allow anybody to bend you. Don't allow anybody to deceive you. Be strong. If they give you one, give two to them. This is what the word says. But Krishnaji says, be vulnerable. And what is meant by be vulnerable is totally receptive. Don't hold the shield up without even inquiring what the visitor wants. Therefore, this measurable growth. I am less angry these days. I am less jealous these days. I am less lazy these days. You have seen me for many years. Don't you find me less lazy? Don't you find me less sleepy in meetings, on the stage, on the dais, how I used to snore? Nowadays, how I sit erect, alert. Have I not come a long way? Oh dear, as long as you have these thoughts about how I was, how I am, and how I hope to be, just give me 2 more years. I'll show you. I will surpass everybody else. Give me a chance. That thinking is flawed. Interestingly, there is a statement by Ramana Maharshi who says the most beautiful state of being is when there is no I. He calls it Niraham Pratiti. Aham Pratiti means a sense of I. I am good here, not so good there. I am better than her, but not as good as he. So, sense of I. I've earned a lot, but not as much as one of my uncles who has made 10 times more than I. All this measurement, more than the physical wealth, a certain subtle psychological sense of how worthy I am, how lovable I am, how loving I am, how talented I am, how bright I am, how this I am, how that I am. That is called aham pratiti. Aham buddhiman. Aham dhanikaha. I am wealthy. This aham, aham. Niraham pratiti. He says it is sarvottama. Sarvottamaham matishunya nishta. There are some Sanskrit expressions, leave Sanskrit aside. When there is no I, you neither judge yourself negatively nor judge yourself positively. You don't judge yourself to be superior to anyone. You don't judge yourself to be inferior to anyone. You have better business to do than removing old labels and putting new labels. This labeling is a treacherous thing. We put labels on others and we put labels on ourselves. They go together actually. As they say, man, those who kill by the sword also die by the sword, it is said. That is, if you label others, you cannot help but label yourself. If you are judgmental of others, it's simply impossible for you not to be judgmental about yourself. If you look at a very rich man who comes in BMW or Mercedes or nowadays Tesla or something, and your eyebrows go up, then when you have your own Tesla, standing before that, your eyebrows go up. I never thought I would be owner of a Tesla. Today I am. So labeling others and labeling oneself go together. We can never be non-judgmental about ourselves, but judgmental about others. Anyway, these are all corollaries that follow the theory. Essentially, let me come to the crux of the matter. The immeasurable is when there is no self. Perhaps the Buddha preferred to call it a state of nothingness, language, whereas certain other seers called it a state of infinity. Is it zero or is it infinity? Is it a void or is it being everything? Some scholars say it's just a difference of language. Whether you call it infinity or call it zero, one thing is clear. What is measured has vanished from the scenario. I pause here. Thank you.
Thank you, Swami. Harshad sir?
Yes, are you able to hear my voice?
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Swamiji. you have given many examples of measuring in the physical world and also in the psychological worlds. Uh, for both, for any kind of measurement, thinking is required. When there is no thinking, there is nothing to measure. And that is the state, actually, where we can say that that is goodness, when there is no measurement at all, either in the physical world or in the psychological world. And we human beings have invented language to express, and that language itself is used for measurement. So when there is a silence, there is a no thinking, there are no words, no language. But that is very, very rare in our life because we are so much used to uh, think. Thinking has kind of become a habit for us, and whether we like it or not, it goes on in our life. And wherever there is a thinking, there is a measurement also there. So maybe possible for some human beings to observe this, whatever is going on, whatever thoughts, feelings, and not do anything what Krishnaji would call a choiceless awareness. And when that happens in our life, then we really don't care much for our happiness. The happiness is no measurement, is the real happiness. Just observing things as they are. I would, this word good, and we have also a better word than good, better, and best. But I think that is a comparative word again, measuring good, better, best. So, real good is something which I feel is very healthy, very happy, very creative, in which there are not thinking, but there is a awareness which exists, in which everything looks very fresh, new, and that state is the real goodness, I would say. Mm. And a good, I think that explains everything. Um, good, good means having a no sense of I, and this I is the source for measurement, whether it is a small or big, as long as I, this sense thinking exists, measurement exists. So a real good is where there is no thinking, there is a pure awareness, and that seems to be the real purpose of all religion, like Buddhism or Hinduism, in that kind of infinite sense. When there is no I or no me, there exists a vast space. And that is what Krishnaji, when he was dying, he was telling people that they have missed that vast emptiness. And that is a sense of no self, silence, and alert awareness. So, okay, I think I don't have much to say. Thank you very much.
Vaveed sir.
Good evening, friends. I think you can listen to me. I have a power problem today, so little bit of uh, problem will be there. But anyway, we have heard Swamiji a long narration, a very, very long, and a number of examples. What I feel honestly is the the more words we use, and the more stories we use to explain, or rather to say something about which is not which is for us. We have been hearing to Krishnamurti and reading books and discussing in different debates. So we all are in a position to actually, in the minimum words, can we convey it? Because this is what I feel every time. Then Harshadji reduced it to something. He had also not much to say. So the whole point today, measurable. I have written 4, 5 sentences that came to me. Measurable invariably makes one miserable. Makes one miserable. Because some desire is always associated with measurement. See, measure brings automatically comparison and conflict. Then good and bad is decided by mind or felt by mind body complex, or the self. So every issue ultimately relates to suffering, whether it ends into suffering and psychological conditioning. So this is this is what is important to this topic, measurement. So not much to say. I wanted to only say that let us not dilute the essence. Like homeopathic, it is not quantized. You see, it is something to be rather expressed in minimum words. This is what I feel. That's why ultimately those haikus became important. Those Kabir ke dohes became important. These small in two-liners became important. You see, so that's why I find the more we talk about these issues, which we have been hearing time and again, in modified words, in more than 10 different synonyms we use. It is very interesting. Language wise, it is very interesting. But the real message is diluted. This is what I feel. Thank you very much, friends, giving me enough time. Thank you.
Dinesh Waghmare. Prasad sir, you can start.
Namaste, sir. My video is not coming, but I hope my audio is all right.
So your video is also coming.
Anyway, I am not able to see my own picture.
Okay, no problem. You continue.
So, sir, the topic is, can anything measurable, except in the physical world, be ever good? So, entire modern civilization is based on measurement. Science is based on measurement. Without measurement, there is no science. So, in the scientific world, in the physical world, measurement is inevitable and there is nothing wrong about it. it is morally neutral. It has no there is no value judgment about measurement in the physical world. But then in the psychological world, what does measurement mean? Measurement in the psychological world is comparison, it is a division, it is a process of becoming, etc. These are the elements of measurement in the psychological world. That is what I understand. So, there is no problem if you have two houses and I have only one house. The problem arises only when I compare myself with you. So long as it is just a measurement in the sense of calculation, it's all right. But when I see that you have two houses and I have only one house and make it a problem, that is, I start feeling miserable because you have two houses. At that point, measurement has entered into the psychological world. So, measurement by itself in the psychological world has no problem at all. But when it becomes a basis for comparison, then the problem arises. If I think comparison is envy, jealousy, and conflict. All these things are the result of comparison, which is measurement in the psychological world. Similarly, division. I have a sense of I, my ego is there, and I think I am separate from everybody else. I have no connection with the rest of the world. I am separate entirely. I think of only myself and my well-being, at the most my family, things like that. When you are divided from the rest of the world, you have all sorts of conflicts. We have all sorts of divisions, linguistic division, religious divisions, and all those things. And then ultimately that Krishnaji doesn't want even that nationalism, because that is also a kind of division, nationalism. You think your country is so great, the rest of the world is not comparable to you, like that. Then there is another thing, this becoming process. I think Swamiji has also said that I have become better today than I was 10 years ago. So that is that becoming process, that comparison between what is and what should be. I am always thinking of reaching that stage, what should be. I have some ideal. I am falling short of that ideal. I am miserable. So that type of aspiration, comparison between what is and what should be, like that. And then, as Parekhji has said, it is awareness, a simple awareness without thought entering into it. If I can look at a flower or a tree, simply aware of it without comparison, without my knowledge entering. When my knowledge enters, this flower is not as beautiful as that flower. And when that knowledge enters, again, that is a problem. So these are the elements, psychologically, these are the elements of measurement. Comparison, division, becoming, ideals, these are all measurements in the psychological world. As we have already said, physically, measurement is inevitable. Thought has a role, has a place. Thought in the physical world is good. There is no problem about it. It is only this type of measurement in the psychological world that creates, that is the problem, and that cannot be good, as the topic says. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Nagar, sir. Chaitanya Nagar, sir. Chaitanya, sir.
Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Am I audible?
Yes, you are audible, sir.
Okay, because I cannot unmute myself. That's why.
No.
Even if you say, if you unmute me, and if I try from my end, I cannot do it. So that's why I wanted to confirm. Uh, I just want to thank Swamiji for his lovely talk. Mm. You know, when you were talking, Swamiji, a few lines from Shelley, the great poet, they came to my mind. It's not the whole poem, just two lines from the poem. The desire of the moth for the star and of the night for the morrow, the devotion to something afar from the sphere of our sorrow. And the question that came to my mind was, how does a mind which is like given to measuring, is prone to this habit of measuring everything with its own yardstick or some yardstick that has been handed down to me. I'm always measuring. Now, how does the craving for far from the sphere of this sorrow that measuring produces comparison, the process of becoming, as another friend pointed out, in a mind which is caught up in all this? How and where does this craving for the immeasurable come from? Is it because somebody has described it very beautifully and I'm fascinated by that description? And I have an extra additional craving now. I had craving in the transactional world, and now I have another craving for the divine, for the immeasurable, for the infinite. How does a mind which is all the time caught up in measurements of all kinds, where is the room for this? The search, the quest for the immeasurable, or it is just a figment of my imagination. Is it what seems uh, somewhat logical to me is perhaps if I have understood this habit of measuring, I have understood the pain, the agony that it creates. I mean, comparison and all that. And therefore, I just deny the measure, the habit of measurement. That denial perhaps may be an invitation to what is not measurable, the boundless, the limitless. But as long as I have this limited mind, how does that mind even feel, experience the, no, the whispers of the immeasurable? Does it ever hear it, or it is just another craving that has come because of tradition, because of people like you, because of great teachers, and so on? I think that was my observation and a question too. I mean, I can speculate about it. I can write beautiful words about describing the immeasurable, but does it establish a does it create a bridge between the immeasurable, if at all it exists, and my limited mind? That I have a first-hand experience of my limited mind, reactive, demanding, comparing, becoming, wanting more, wanting less. So I'm just interested in that authentic, genuine craving, genuine urge, desire, if I may use that word, to be in touch with the infinite. Where does it come from? Yes, that's it for now.
Dinesh Waghmare.
Can you hear my voice?
Yes, sir.
First of all, thanks to all earlier speakers. We have already completed 5 years. So we should now discuss from the other angles also these things. The question is, can anything measurable, except in physical world, be ever good? Before coming to subject, I would like to tell two small stories, which are real stories, and in both I was involved. Normally, I do not like stories, tellings, particularly when the reference is spirituality. The storytelling was the way of information and communication when science was not developed. Tradition says it Drishtant and Rupak. And like episodes, etc., when we say similar things are also there in tradition. The matter of spirituality is complex, and one of the Thursdays I said about my insight that whosoever speaks anything is first come for his internal growth inside him. One has to take it a positive or negative message from it and be aware. Similarly, as far as possible, I try to avoid telling past story, particularly if I am involved in it. Some people mechanically repeat the same things happen to them again and again, which was happened to them long past. My views are based on my insight is any person is neither inferior nor superior but a unique person. Now, as far as spirituality is concerned, one should take the essence of the matter and discard rest of the things. These storytelling type persons normally do not know what they are doing, and they distract the people. They don't make the things simple. And similarly, mechanical repeating type persons who repeat the things again and again should understand that both are under unique traps. These things may work in physical world or may help in earning bread and butter, but for inner world they are trapped in unique loops. Storytelling type person will continue to get stories from outer and inner, and this will be having impediment to move forward. Harshad sir may say it as a thought, or there can be any other science, or then there can be any other things which may provoke them, and they will continue to remain in their mood of such storytelling. Similarly, the mechanical repeating type person will continue to get such thoughts, and he will be having difficulty in having new things for progress. Anyway, because whatever you select, the secret is whatever you select, when you try to aware about yourself, who you are, including myself, I am talking. One has to see what he is getting and what is its relation to the spirituality. So, if he is aware or he is having some benediction or something, he will immediately come to know where he is wrong and what he is doing for himself. Or otherwise, he will continue. Anyway, but sometimes it is necessary to tell stories. So, anyway, first story goes like this. I was in first year in engineering in 1977, and we were having a common topic of boiler in general engineering, which then covers boilers and workshop for all the branches or all the branch students, because they should know about everything generally about mechanical engineering, civil engineering, and electrical engineering. These were the subjects, only subjects. Just chemical engineering was added. So these were the main subjects, and this was the general engineering was the common subject for the first year. And there was viva conducted on this subject, for which external comes through the other colleges. So when I was giving the viva in my time, the batch was very big, because so many students were involved in this. All the branches students were involved in this. So the external came and he asked the question to the first lot. Suppose I make the boiler of gold, what will happen? Nobody could give the answer to this question, because most of the people are just cramming the things and came to appear in viva. So nobody can give such. So he just then asked 1-2 questions, and he said you can go. So 3, 4, 5 lots were just gone like that, and they were waiting for the superintendent of workshop. They contacted superintendent of workshop, and he could also not answer. So then they were waiting to come our internal professor to come out, but he didn't. After say 1 hour, lot of this lot has gone already without answering this question. For some time, just to pass the urine, the professor came out, and our internal professor came out, and all the students have just gathered, and they were all scared, and they asked, sir, हम लोग इस प्रश्न का जवाब नहीं दे सकते हैं, ये कौन सा आपने इंटरनल बुला लिया, एक्सटर्नल बुला लिया, ये तो बहुत ही खतरनाक है. All were scared and they said that we can't tell you. So he asked, what has happened? So they said that he is asking a question, if suppose I make boiler of gold, what will happen? Immediately the professor was annoyed. He said, tell him that this is a foolish question and nobody can, and we don't have time for such questions. So they said, sir, you can say like that, but how can we? He said, use your common sense. Boiler was there at that time, was very important because there were rail engines, there were so many this plants who were using boiler for getting energy. So boiler was very important topic in those days. So sir, you can say answer like that on the face of a external, but we can't. So he said, then he cooled down and he said, use your common sense. What is the application? And for that application, whether steel is good or gold is good, number one. Number two, what is the cost of steel and what is the cost of gold? So how can one select gold for the steel, against steel, for such application? Can anybody? So all the students were happy, and then they could give the right answer to that external. Now the story changes. Some 15 years back, there is a very good renowned engineering college in Indore, which is Vaishnav Institute of, I can take the name also, Vaishnav Institute of Technology and Science. And this was a private engineering college because time has changed now. In our days, only government engineering colleges were there. Now this is private engineering college. And my friend was professor there of this same subject. At that time, boiler was not there. They removed it because there were so many energy sources and so many techniques were developed for getting energy. So that subject was removed. So he said, Dinesh, and they used to call industrial managers from industrial industries because managers from industries were having this expertise in their field, and they thought that their expertise will help in the growth of the students. So he asked me, Dinesh, can you come in my college for this taking external Viva? I said, why not? In those days, I used to head the projects in Shakti Pumps of India Limited. Prior to that, I was in Botlebo India Limited, where we used to deal all types of machineries. Some people say that it is a departmental store for machineries. So right from the indigenous to imported machines, all we were dealing. So I was having I can say that a good, normally good knowledge of workshop machine. So he called me, and then when I go there, he asked me, do you want to see our workshop facility? I said, why not? So we have gone to the workshop, and I coolly, in those days, I started studying Krishnamurti some years back. So I have just coolly gone there, and we have seen their facilities, and he has shown me their facility, and I have just see all the machines they are having, and came to the cabin. Now first lot came. He said, yeah, see, our students are not like our students, because those days engineering seats were less and people were selected, people were coming to engineering. Now everybody is coming to engineering and it is like a BSc degree. I said, okay, fine. First lot, I asked a question. I entered in, when I entered in your workshop, have you seen workshop? They said, yes. I entered in your workshop and I have seen the machines. And what is the name of the first machine? When I entered the workshop, on the left hand side, there is a machine. What is the name of that? You will surprise, nobody could answer. They have immediately, the lot has gone and I said, go. Then second lot has come. In the meantime, first lot has gone to the superintendent of workshop. But he was not there. He has gone for some work. So some lot has gone like that. Again, my friend has gone out and they said, sir, आपने किसको बुला लिया? ये तो बहुत ही ऐसे ऐसे कठिन क्वेश्चन हमसे पूछ रहे हैं कि हमें इसका जवाब ही नहीं आता है. तो उसने मेरे को आके बोला, यार वो तो सब स्टूडेंट्स ऐसे बोल रहे हैं. मैंने कहा अच्छा. तो I said to my friend, see, you have to give all the answers based on all the factors like attendance, their behavior, attitude, and other things like. Okay, so don't worry. You answer. You give the marks. I will just be asking the question for the namesake. So again a lot come. So I changed the question. I entered in your workshop. There were very good facility. There was a very good facility in your workshop. So what is the machines which are in the middle of the workshop? Again, nobody could answer because nobody was knowing. They were knowing. They were just know the name of the lathe machine, but they were not linked it to the actual lathe machine, which lathe machine they are in. So moral of the story is people do not go deep. People can ask the questions for various reasons. And so moral of the story is people generally lack in common sense or do not go deep into the subject. Say listening or saying without names. Why it is required? People just do cramming and move forward. Just repeat the authority, which they think that it is authority. Now coming to the question or subject. Since it was the subject is of question, now let us come to the question. What is good, bad? Even I had ugly also in the question. What is good, what is bad, what is ugly in the world? If one sees such questions, these questions are of duality. In spirituality, the only sacredness is there. Good, bad, ugly, such question doesn't stand at all. Right? And another thing, in duality, there is this world is multidimensional, multifaceted, etc., etc. So, which is also covered in Jain Anekantavad. So, one's perception refers to his own intentions, needs, desires, etc., labels it to whether it is a good or it is a gray or it is a bad or whether it is ugly. So it depends on a uniqueness of a person, right? Okay, just for the society's sake, we generally make some rules and then we say that this is good, this is bad, everybody should move in the left, everybody should or similar question, similar rules. Let us not go into that. So what I mean to say, Okay, now come to JK. JK says, in the physical world, anything that is measurable cannot be good. Technologically, yes, but when I say I am becoming good, which is a measure, that measure is not good. Can any physical world remain in your brain or mind without link to a psychological world? One has to question. Only wisdom, which he says further, can save you from separating the things. Otherwise, it is not possible, because everything is same at that level. It is all mixed. Comparison, and look, people are talking of comparison and this thing. This is a natural feature in this thing, human system. There it is not labeled that it is this feature is for the. We are talking of one side, we are talking of feature, and other side this naming, and other side we are saying this is for the physical world and this is for the psychological world. We ourselves are naming it. So these are the things. As far as spirituality is concerned, the question doesn't stand. Also, one has to see the intention of a questioner. Why is asking? What he wants to achieve or gain or whatever. Is he just want to awake you from sleep or what? All the such questions, everything you feature, there is no such separation or fragmentation. Fragmentation is there, but again there is a link also. Otherwise, you can't move in the life. So, link of physical world and psychological world, one has to understand the totality, and then only if he reach to the wisdom level, then only intelligence can help him. Otherwise, it is very difficult to move again ahead. Thank you. Anybody wants to comment, or I invite Harshad sir and Swamiji. If they want to make any comment, I will
Swamiji is not.
welcome it. Okay.
Swamiji is not there.
Okay, Harshad sir.
Shakti ji, please. Sir, let Shakti ji please say something.
Yes, sir. My voice is reaching, sir.
Yes, your voice is coming.
Yeah. See this, I don't know whether there is this immeasurable or nothingness. These are for me some words which are very attractive, but I have no touch with this, whether it exists for me or not. But measurement is part of life. And fortunately, in psychological world, this process of measurement can be watched in the light of awareness. And then that awareness shows its right place, because measurement is directly connected with thought. So this observation or watching, that is very important. The only question which remains is that why is there an unwillingness to watch or observe at times? So that question I keep asking from myself, that even knowing that measurement can be watched, and so from time to time there is unwillingness. Sometimes it is willingness, sometimes it is unwillingness to observe. Thank you. Thank you.
Harshad sir.
Are you asking me to say something?
Dinesh ji has
Yes, sir.
asked.
Okay. No, I would say that we cannot decide to watch. If we decide to watch whatever measurement is going on in the psychological world, it will not last for a few seconds. So only when we become very curious to look at our inner world, not because we want to be free from anything, but because we are curious, then that watching becomes like our nature. It's not a habit. This watching, it becomes very interesting to watch, not because we are getting something out of it. And that is what is difficult, I think, unless we are very, very curious to look at our inner world. Our mind will go on thinking about so many things, whether it's politics, economics, sports, films, and generally our mind goes in that area of living, which is more exciting, and to looking inward at the thoughts itself is extremely difficult, very frightening. People are unable to do it. But when it becomes very interesting to watch, just like there is a film, when we watch in the theater, we can watch for 3 hours, 2, 3 hours. Similarly, there is a film going on within us. And when we become interested in observing this, then we begin to learn in a direct way about uh, our own self. And that gives us certain kind of space to observe, to respond to any difficulties in life. So we cannot decide to observe, but observation can become very interesting when we feel that we are learning and it is helping in our daily life. Okay, I think I don't have anything to comment on what Dinesh ji talked. It was a very long talk, and I think it should be made more direct, short. Probably that will be my comment on that. Thank you.
Pradeep sir.
Yes, yes. Uh, a very simple question I have to all of us, anybody can answer this question. Because whether psychological world and physical world are two things, whether there is something like inner and outer. If you have read deeply about Krishnamurti ji, even, he says there is no inner or outer. He always talked about the whole. We divide ourselves and then start talking. Each of our questions are divided because of the division in us. Somewhere in us, we have certain conclusions or likings, maybe from some scriptures, maybe from saint, maybe from some for anybody for that matter. So whether we divide and divided, the question is a division itself. Whether it's a real question or you are with some answer expecting others to explore or to get at that. So It's a very interesting thing that leads to discussions and debates. Holistic view, holistic perception, whether all these things which we discuss usually the differences. We discuss synonyms, the same word, antonyms, but then we go on. Somewhere we say that this is all related to mind, we have to go beyond mind. Somewhere we say that this is finite and we have to get everything from the infinite. Although Carl Jung has talked about it, unconscious, collective unconscious is always there in you, in all of us. So by using different words or phrases or even technical words, we elaborate the discussion. The discussion is between one difference and the other difference and that difference and that and this similarity and that and that. So ultimately, whole David Bohm and Krishnamurti had long, they discussed it about it, implicate order and the explicate order, but it is the same one. Dinesh has also touched that to certain extent. The same one we divide and discuss. So this is what I have to say. Simply, anybody can have, whether these psychological and physical worlds are different. Are they different? Then suddenly we quote Ishavasyam Vedam Sarvam. Then we give Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. Then we talk about so many things which include everything, verbally at least. But then why discuss? Discussing what? Differences, different. So this is all I wanted to say. If somebody wants to clarify, because everybody is talking as if physical world and the psychological world are different. They are not. They are not at all. Each cell is totipotent. Each cell has its own brain. That is holistic vision. Thank you very much. If anybody wants to comment or suggest something to me, I'll be happy.
Yeah, what we mean by the outer world is the world of nature, which is not made by human beings. The nature, the objects, mountains, river, trees, birds, animals, these are the outer world, and the inner world means the world of thinking, which happens within us. Of course, that world of thinking may happen because there is an outside world there. So outside world can create the inner world. In that way, there is a relationship. But inner world, by which we mean anger, fear, jealousy, loneliness, boredom, these are inner world. And the outer world is the world of objects, in which there is a clear demarcation, I feel. Though there is a relationship between the inner and the outer, but they are different, I would say. Okay, I finished.
Now, can I say something here?
Yeah.
Basically, the underlying energy level, non-duality level, everything is same. There is no difference. There is nobody second to it. There is no second to it. It is alone. So everything is just. You want to ask me something? Say something to me, Modakji?
No. Please try to be brief. Our time is coming to end.
Yeah. In 2-3 lines, I will. Okay. But when we come in the world of duality, there is a difference also, there is relation also, there is everything, and existing simultaneously At the same time, time frame is also same. In same time frame, everything is existing simultaneously. This one has to go into deep and see. Another, what I wanted to say about the action. We say choiceless awareness. Why? Fine. As far as inner meditation is concerned, it is okay. When we come out in the world, automatically there will be some selection. Automatically there will be some selection. So for monk it is okay. But when you are moving on the road, suppose say, if two dogs are chasing you, then you can get rid of them. But suppose 15 dogs are there, then what you will do? You have to run. So choice is based on uniqueness. Choice will always be there. Selection will always be there for any activity. And JK also says any activity is based on your past knowledge. Yes, action, if you want to see, then it is in the present, but based on the wisdom. So these two things are there. So many times you will see this confusion in JK, because many the persons sitting in front of him, are they students? Are they ignorant? Are they only interested in their personal problems? Or they are interested in real spirituality? So these things are there. Thank you.
Dr. Kulkarni sir, the time
Yes,
is
sir. Thank
very
you, sir.
limited. So if you want to comment within 1 minute, you can comment. But time
Yes,
is
sir. I will
now
try to
gone.
complete in 1 minute.
Okay.
Nothing to say much. Everybody has said. First thing to Pradeep sir's comment was like truth or the life is continuum. So when we are at sleep, there is neither physical nor mental world. So what are we? That's a question to ponder, not to answer. Most of the times, Krishna ji said, so not to get answer, but let us investigate continuously. Second thing I wanted to mention is regarding the measurable and immeasurable. So both are together and same. So like whatever we say, so thought itself is a like a measurable, but when it loses itself, the third part, as mentioned by many, including Dinesh sir, it's losing the time, then timeless will come. That's the answer. Thank you so much, sir.
Time has come, so we will take Prasad sir's views in the next time. Sorry, Prasad sir. Thanks all for participation. And we will have to end the meeting. Thank you.